Hi everybody, welcome to this quick 9 playthrough for the date that is now displayed on the screen. Remember to check the tournament times so that you have time to play all of your holes. Please hit thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Timestamps for all the holes in the video description down below. Bear in mind these are general wind conditions you will need to tweak according to the directions you face in the quick 9. And remember, some of these are old replays, so feature the old ball attribute levels. Good luck, here we go. And now we come to another par 4, and going to go with the Kingmaker here and the Apocalypse, playing aggressively here in the tailwind that we do have. Obviously, if we get a bit more headwind, then we're just going to bounce ourselves over to the fairway on the right, which is just off camera. But tailwind, you can either go full blast with a Berserker and go right over there, over the water to the green, or, as I'm doing here, you can just bounce over and set up a Grizzly shot instead. Max plus 10 here, bouncing in the centre of that strip of fairway with the right spin that we have, going to add a little bit of right curl as well to make sure we find the final piece of fairway before the water. Half a ball of curl to the right, perfect ball away, and we can actually use yardage notes if we do play this approach for our long iron. So just bounce nicely on the fairway here. Drive distance on this one is 362 yards. From there, going to play with the Grizzly using yardage notes. And I'm using here 34% slider and 10% elevation. Applying backspin. And then we are going to set up here with the ball guide just short of the pin, or at least to the front edge of the cup, because we do have tailwind angle on this one. The Grizzly is very good. We do want the accuracy and the ball guide. So a little bit of backspin, and then, as I said, playing this one 34% slider, 10% elevation. And then we are going to take our shot, and we do have a good chance with this approach. So if you don't want to spend a Berserker, don't want to go full blast and risk the sand or the water or the rough, then this is, I believe, a very reliable approach in this wind angle and offers a good chance. Looking at an albatross on this par 5, 6 bars of topspin, 1 bar side spin to the left. If you don't have extra mile 8, you could play this with Thor's Hammer 5 or APOC 3. If you've got lower clubs, you could even go with a big topper, but you would have to set up further back. Aim straight down the middle of that fairway on the right. Adjust max plus 10. Don't need to push up, just take a standard shot here, perfect ball. And this will bounce over very, very nicely, and then clear the rough beautifully, of course, and we're going to roll to a drive distance, and we're looking for somewhere around 385 to 390 yards. Second shot, regardless of your position on your drive, I would suggest you always push up 10 rings from min. So find the minimum line, push up 10 rings in line with the pin, then apply spin. It is going to vary depending on your drive, but apply backspin and right spin so that you get the ball guide going to the pin. So always push up 10 rings from min, then add your spin. Find a good landing spot here, and then because we've pushed up 10 rings, we're going to always play 25% slider, 5% elevation. So in between min and mid, 5% elevation. So make sure you push up 10 rings so that the slider will work, and a perfect ball here has, in my opinion, a very good chance of dropping in this wind angle. Bounces nicely, takes the green nicely, and drops for a lovely albatross on this par 5. The par 3s on this course are very tricky, and here is one of them right now. This one is the easiest of the par 3s, but it still is difficult to drop, and you will need to have a couple of looks at the holes here with the different wind directions, especially on these par 3s, to get dialed in, or at least close. Setting up a max distance with the Katana here, blue ring touching the rough, playing with some left spin so that I do not risk the rough on the left. And then I'm going to adjust this one max plus 40. Varying ways you can play this hole. You can set up with the ball guide to the hole, play with more elevation, or you can play with less elevation and then have to offset. The choice is yours, this one, but it is a very tricky hole. Quarterback is your friend in headwind scenarios. You will bounce on the second fairway, the one that is connected to the green. Nice speed there, but we just need to adjust a little bit more there to get that one to drop. Great chance for an eagle with this tailwind angle on this par 4. 4.5 topspin, 2 bars side spin to the right with a Titan. Can be played with low level extra mile as well. Here I set up at the top of +8. I would recommend you just set up a couple of yards higher. I would go top of +10 just to make sure you are near a min club with the thorn. So 4.5 top, 2 right, extra mile 8 I would set up at +10, extra mile 6, 7 at +12. Adjust max +20. And the reason I would suggest setting up a bit higher is because sometimes you can get a dead bounce, which will cost you about 8 or 10 yards. So I'm going to show you a drive here. This does have the dead bounce, but the second shot is from a drive with a bit more yardage. So 349 on that one. We want to be in the 350s. This second shot is taken from a drive with 355 yards. Count up rings from min until you get the blue ring touching the bottom of the fringe where it meets the fairway. Then we are going to add between 3 and 5 bars of backspin, get the ball guide going to the pin. So look at the position of the blue ring, count up your rings from min. Here I pushed up 7 rings from min, so I place 7% slider, -10 elevation. Further information on rings from min and the slider on the BK Academy tutorial playlist on the channel homepage. So rings from min, 1% slider per ring, and then we're going to play -10 elevation. Perfect ball, excellent chance for an eagle on this par 4. Now, if you want to support us on Patreon, you can do so. Details on the screen now. As part of your perks on certain days for the Quick Nines, there will be some Patreon exclusive Master General playthroughs for those holes used. So make sure you check us out there. Now, a very tricky par 5. Here we are going to play down the right-hand side, and we are going to have here the extra mile and then the big dog or the cataclysm, depending which gives you the better stats. 2.5 top spin, 2 bars of left spin, playing with a Titan because we're in pro here. Expert, obviously I would go to a Kingmaker. Now you can see I'm aiming in the rough here, but all will become clear once I explain the shot. Max +10 is the adjustment here, so I'm making my adjustment. Then what I'm going to do is go full overpower. It's going to be a slow needle because we're not at max distance of our club, and we're playing with 3/4 ball curl to the left. Full overpower, hit perfect, and you're going to see this takes us well past the rough, although you can't really see on the camera angle, but it does work, and along the fairway towards the top left corner. Drive distance you want to be around 380. Now with the big dog here we are going to have to stretch out a little bit because of the wind angle. Obviously if you've got tailwind or you're nearer the rough on the fairway from your drive, you may not have to do that, or indeed if you're playing with a power 5 ball. But I'm stretching out, having that first bounce on the fringe, and I'm playing this one no spin. The idea is just to get safely on the green. Now I looked at how many rings I was stretching out there. I'm adjusting max +10, it takes me into overpower, and I'm adding the rings on that I was stretching out. So in the end, about 3 rings of overpower. Obviously in tailwind, if you need to stretch out, you don't need to play with overpower, you can just push up those remaining rings instead. But I'm really just looking to secure the eagle, make sure that first bounce clears the rough, and then you are on the green nicely for an eagle putt. Hole in one now on this par 3. Start with a basic ball. Apply 0.3 topspin, then we switch to a navigator. That is because we don't want to apply any unintentional or hidden side. Switch to a navigator. If you do have high wind in the 6.8 above, I would go to a Kingmaker. Top of the white ring touching the rough. This can be played with a sniper level 7+, and we aim with the ball guide pointing at the hole. Zoom in if you want to check your alignment. It is quite difficult to see otherwise. Here we go mid-distance, 20% elevation, but we use power 3 settings, regardless of whether you're using a navigator or a Kingmaker. Wind around the mid-5s will be good, so like I said, if you do have a Kingmaker here that you can put on, it will help you. Mid +20, power 3 bounces very nicely on the next piece of fairway and drops beautifully for a hole in one. Tricky par 4 here with the approach. We're going to play with the rock or the quarterback on the drive for the ball guide and also the accuracy. Now I'm looking at ring references here, clear ring touching the rough on the right, and I'm playing with A few bars of top spin and 1 bar of right spin. Have that ball guide going down that channel of fairway on the right hand side. I play this route in every single wind angle here, and we're going to need the sniper for the approach. Adjustment here is going to be maximum distance with no elevation. This one is a flat shot, no downhill at all, so max plus 0, and we're going to centre the ball and hit perfect. Like I said, if you don't have the rock, you could play with the quarterback as well. It just gives you some accuracy as we're playing into a narrow patch of fairway. Rolling up onto this little hill, and it's going to leave us a sniper. Now the sniper is tough here. You're going to try and find a consistent landing position. I'm checking my club distance here, and then I'm trying to find a good spot on the fairway to land. Unfortunately, it is fairly bumpy, but you're going to have to play with between 3 and 4 bars of backspin here, a little bit of left spin. You can see there is a tiny sticky spot there. You might need to adapt the spins a little bit. I want the ball guide short of hole because we've got tailwind. Now, as an example here for a general play, I'd play this mid-distance 5% elevation. You could investigate the rough bump here, but from experience, I think it's a little bit glitchy. So it's all about trying to find a decent spot on the fairway. Mid plus 5, this one did need a little bit of a tweak, unfortunately. This is a tricky shot to drop for the eagle, though, but gives you a general idea of how you might want to approach the routes on this hole. If you are enjoying the free content here on the channel and want to help out and keep everything free, then please consider making a small donation. All donations are gratefully received and help me out here on the channel, as all of the content here is produced for free in my own spare time. You can do that in one of 3 ways. You can hit the thanks button here on YouTube. You can make a PayPal donation via the link in the description down below, or you can also join us over on Patreon. Details at the end of the video. Not an easy par 3, this one. We're going to need a fair amount of backspin, so if you've got a lower level sniper, you may struggle. Going with a navigator here, as this was from Pro, but in Expert, I would recommend you go with a Kingmaker. We're playing with 5 backspin and 1 right spin, and you can see the tip of that ball guide, a couple of green squares before the pin, and also slightly to the left, because the wind is going to push us on as well. If you have headwind angle, you will need less backspin, and you would need to offset that ball guide to be above the pin slightly as well. Max plus 20 in this wind angle here. If you don't have much backspin on your sniper, you can play it with the Guardian if you just want to hold nicely onto the green. Tricky hole to drop though, but there is a hole in one on this par 3. Par 5 here, and I'm going to bounce directly over to the fairway that you see here in this crosswind scenario. Little bit of topspin and 2 bars side spin to the left. I'm playing with a Titan. Obviously, if you want to reduce the wind a little bit further, then Kingmaker is good. APOC 5 is just going to reach over there. If you have lower power drivers, you will need to stretch out, and then once you've adjusted, push up the right number of rings. We are just going to be okay here with our max plus 10 adjustment. I'm going with a little bit of overpower to make sure that I do make it over, because we do adjust in this instance to a lower point. Half a ball of curl to the left, and we are going to clear nicely and roll down the fairway. This is a narrow fairway, so beware of great balls left and right. We don't want to be in the rough. I'd rather play safe and just find the centre of that fairway rather than push it too far. 346 yards here is going to leave a shot with our sniper. Now we do have a slight headwind angle here, so I'm going to back up a little bit before I add my spin. And here I'm adding top spin, a little bit of side spin to the left, and I'm going to aim just at the pin here with the ball guide. As you can see, it does glitch around a little bit here, so this is a tricky one to get the speed right, but you've still got a chance at an albatross on this par 5. The adjustment I make here in this crosswind is max distance, 5% elevation. Max plus 5 just takes me into overpower there, so I'm going to put a little bit of overpower on. The alternative is, though, of course, to go with more topspin and set up further back from max distance. Perfect ball away, and this one does bounce very nicely and rolls to the pin with a good speed, but just coming in a little bit to the right, so maybe 10% would have been a better adjustment in that scenario. Thanks very much for watching this video here on the channel. If it has helped you in any way, please consider sharing it amongst your friends and clanmates in the game. Join us also on Facebook. Head over there, search for BK Golf Clash and join our free group. Loads of members there sharing shots. Free guides are posted, as well as loads of other great Golf Clash resources. So check us out there. You can join in the discussion and also leave feedback on the game in general. Finally, if you wish to help support the channel and keep the content free for everybody, please consider becoming a Patreon member. The link is in the video description down below. Good luck. See you soon. Bye for now.